She was supposed to be a mistake, a last-minute addition to fill runtime, a bratty teenager designed to teach Anakin responsibility and then be forgotten when the real story began. Instead, she became the heart of Star Wars. But here's what will blow your mind. Ahsoka Tano's greatest victory wasn't defeating the Empire, surviving Order 66, or even facing Darth Vader. Her greatest triumph was something no other Jedi ever achieved. She learned how to let go without giving up hope. You're going to discover how a throwaway character became the moral compass of an entire generation, how a student surpassed every master, and how one person's refusal to compromise changed the fate of the galaxy forever. Because what if I told you that Ahsoka Tano didn't just survive the fall of the Jedi, she evolved beyond them entirely. The student who changed the teacher, Christophsis, where destiny began. August 15th, 2008. A cocky 14-year-old with backwards lightsabers drops into the Clone Wars with 3 words that would reshape Star Wars forever. I'm Ahsoka Tano.
I'm Ahsoka?
George Lucas made her annoying on purpose. The plan was simple. Give the chosen one a bratty apprentice to mature him, then write her out when she'd served her narrative function. But something magical happened in that writer's room. They discovered that Ahsoka wasn't just changing Anakin, she was changing everyone who encountered her. Watch those early episodes again. Every time Ahsoka questions orders, challenges traditions, or finds creative solutions, she's not being rebellious. She's being exactly what the Jedi Order forgot how to be: curious, compassionate, and alive. While other Padawans recited the code, Ahsoka asked why. While Masters meditated on detachment, she formed connections. While the Order stagnated in tradition, she embodied what they were supposed to protect. The genius of her character wasn't that she was perfect. It's that she was perfectly suited to expose everyone else's flaws. In trying to teach Anakin patience, she revealed his capacity for love. In challenging Obi-Wan's rigidity, she showed his hidden flexibility. Ahsoka didn't just learn from the Jedi, she reminded them what they used to be. The general who never wanted to fight, the Clone Wars, when children lead adults. Here's something that will destroy you emotionally. Ahsoka Tano spent her teenage years in the bloodiest conflict in galactic history, watching friends die every single day, and somehow emerged more compassionate than the adults who sent her there. While Jedi Masters strategized like generals, Ahsoka fought like a protector. She learned every clone's name, mourned every casualty, and carried the weight of command without losing her humanity. Rex, Fives, Jesse. To other Jedi, they were expendable soldiers. To Ahsoka, they were brothers worth dying for. She saw individuals where others saw numbers, souls where others saw resources. But here's the heartbreaking irony. The war that was supposed to corrupt her innocence actually crystallized her character. Every battle taught her that life was precious. Every loss reinforced that connections mattered more than victory. Watch her progression through the seasons. She gets stronger, wiser, more skilled, but never harder. While the war turns other Jedi into distant commanders, Ahsoka becomes more present, more engaged, more herself. She was learning to be everything the Jedi claimed to value: compassionate, selfless, connected to the living force. Which is exactly why the Order would ultimately reject her. Because sometimes, being too good at being a Jedi makes you a threat to people who've forgotten what that means. The accused who refuse to break. The wrong Jedi when heroes are betrayed. Season 5, Episode 20. The moment that broke a million hearts and saved Star Wars from itself. Ahsoka didn't just get framed for terrorism, she got abandoned by everyone she trusted. The Republic wanted her executed. The Jedi Council wanted her expelled. Even Anakin, her master, her big brother, doubted her innocence. Here's what makes this storyline devastating. Ahsoka's crime was perfectly in character. Of course she would try to help Letta Termond. Of course she would investigate alone. Of course she would put herself at risk for others. That's who she is. The system didn't just fail her, it revealed that it was never designed to protect people like her. Independent thinkers, questioners, people who cared more about doing right than following rules. But watch Ahsoka's response to betrayal. No bitterness toward the clones who hunt her, no hatred for the masters who abandon her. Even after Barriss reveals her betrayal, Ahsoka feels pity, not anger. When the truth comes out, when everyone realizes they were wrong, they expect her to forgive and forget, come back to the Order, pretend nothing happened. Instead, she walks away. Not in anger, not in revenge. But because she finally understands what the audience has been seeing all along, she's already become something greater than what they wanted her to be. The wanderer who found herself between wars, when heroes walk alone. Most stories would end there. Hero gets justice, rejects corrupt system, rides into sunset. But Ahsoka's story was just beginning, because walking away from everything you've ever known isn't freedom. It's the first day of figuring out who you really are. In the space between Clone Wars and Rebels, Ahsoka does something unprecedented in Star Wars. She grows up without a chosen destiny. No prophecy, no master, no sacred mission. Just a young woman with lightsabers trying to figure out how to help. She becomes Fulcrum, not a general or commander, but a connector. Someone who helps resistance cells find each other, supplies rebels with information, builds networks of hope across the galaxy. This is where Ahsoka transcends every other Force user in Star Wars. Jedi serve the Republic. Sith serve themselves. But Ahsoka serves something deeper. The idea that people deserve to be free, and sometimes that means working outside every existing system. She's not fighting for the Republic that betrayed her, or against the Empire that hunts her. She's fighting for the billions of individuals caught between them. Families, children, communities just trying to survive. Without realizing it, Ahsoka has become what the Jedi Order always claimed to be, but never actually was. A true guardian of peace and justice. The master who never took a Padawan, rebels. When students become teachers, when Ahsoka meets the Ghost Crew, something beautiful happens. She becomes the master she always needed. Patient, encouraging, present, while remaining the student she always was. Watch her with Ezra. She doesn't lecture him about attachments or emotions. She validates his fears, acknowledges his pain, and shows him that caring deeply is a strength, not a weakness. With Kanan, she's not competitive or territorial. She respects his journey, supports his struggles, and helps him become the teacher Ezra needs without undermining his authority. But here's the heartbreaking, beautiful irony. In trying to help this new family survive, Ahsoka walks directly into her greatest nightmare and most necessary confrontation. Because somewhere in the darkness, wearing black armor and breathing like a machine, her master is waiting. The moment that broke the galaxy. Malachor. When love becomes tragedy. Ahsoka. One word. Spoken through a mechanical mask. And suddenly, every fan watching realized we were about to witness something Star Wars had never shown us before. What happens when love survives damnation. This isn't just a lightsaber duel, it's a conversation 20 years in the making. Every clash of blades asks a question. How did we get here? Could this have been different? Is there anything left of who we used to be? The genius of this fight is that both combatants are holding back. Vader doesn't want to kill the one person who loved Anakin unconditionally. Ahsoka can't bring herself to destroy what's left of her master. I won't leave you. Not this time. The promise that defines Ahsoka's character. Even facing the most terrifying force in the galaxy, she chooses connection over safety, love over survival. When Vader's mask cracks and we see Anakin's eye, the voice that says, "Then you will die," belongs to someone caught between two identities, two loyalties, two versions of love. Ahsoka doesn't save Anakin in this moment, but she does something more important. She proves that who he used to be was real, was worth loving, and will always be worth fighting for. Her apparent death isn't defeat, it's the ultimate expression of everything she learned. Sometimes love means letting go. Sometimes protecting others means accepting loss. Sometimes the greatest victory looks like failure. The legend who transcended death, world between worlds. When heroes rewrite destiny. Time travel in Star Wars could have been a disaster. Instead, it became the perfect metaphor for Ahsoka's entire arc, someone who saves others by being saved herself. When Ezra pulls Ahsoka from her confrontation with Vader, he's not just saving her life, he's completing a circle that began when she first challenged the Jedi Order's rigid thinking. This is the payoff to everything Ahsoka represented. She taught others to question, to think differently, to value relationships over rules. Now that philosophy literally saves her life through the connection she's built. But here's what makes her decision to return to Malachor so powerful. She doesn't try to change the past. She accepts that some pain is necessary, some losses are meaningful, and some stories require darkness to appreciate the light. Ahsoka returns to face whatever comes next, not because she's invincible, but because she's finally understood the most important lesson. You don't avoid suffering by running from it. You transcend it by choosing what it means. The guide who lights the way, Mandalorian era. When heroes return home. When we see adult Ahsoka in The Mandalorian, something extraordinary has happened. She's become what every Jedi Master aspired to be but none achieved. Wise without being distant, powerful without being prideful, connected without being possessive. Look at how she interacts with Din, with Grogu, with Bo-Katan. She doesn't impose her will or demand obedience. She offers guidance, respects choices, and trusts people to find their own paths. This is the master the galaxy needed during the Clone Wars. Someone who understands that strength comes from connection, that wisdom grows from questioning, and that the best teachers are those who never stop learning. Her search for Thrawn isn't about revenge, it's about responsibility. She knows what unchecked power can do, what happens when people stop caring about individuals in favor of grand designs. But most importantly, she's living proof that you can survive the worst the galaxy has to offer, and emerge not bitter or broken, but more committed than ever to protecting what matters. The symbol of what could be. Legacy, why Ahsoka matters. Ahsoka Tano represents something revolutionary in Star Wars. The idea that you don't have to choose between caring and being strong, between questioning and being loyal, between growing and staying true to yourself. Every choice she makes comes down to the same core principle. People matter. Individual lives have value. Connection is strength, not weakness. These ideas seem simple, but they're radical in a universe that often treats people as expendable. Strip away the lightsabers and force powers, and you're left with someone we all recognize. A person who refuses to let trauma make them cruel, who questions authority without becoming cynical, who loves deeply without trying to control. That's why her story resonates across generations. She's not special because of her abilities, she's special because of her choices. And every day, we all get to make those same choices. The pattern of hope. Every chapter of Ahsoka's story follows the same pattern. She encounters a broken system, refuses to accept that it can't be better, and proves through her actions that change is possible. The Jedi Order said attachments were forbidden. She showed they were essential. The Republic said soldiers were expendable. She proved every life had value. The Empire said resistance was futile. She demonstrated that hope always finds a way. Ahsoka's greatest power isn't her lightsaber technique or force abilities. It's her unshakable belief that things can be better, people can grow, and love is always worth the risk. In a galaxy that seems determined to crush hope, staying optimistic isn't naive, it's revolutionary. In a universe that rewards cynicism, choosing to trust isn't weakness, it's the strongest thing you can do. Ahsoka Tano teaches us that legends aren't born from prophecy or power. They're forged by ordinary people making extraordinary choices again and again, no matter how many times they get knocked down. She shows us that you don't need to be chosen to be special. You don't need a master to find wisdom. You don't need an order to make a difference. All you need is the courage to care, the strength to question, and the wisdom to know that sometimes the greatest victories look like walking away from everything you thought you wanted, to become everything the galaxy actually needs. From Padawan to legend, from student to master, from accused to redeemed, Ahsoka Tano's journey proves that the most powerful force in the universe isn't the dark side or the light. It's hope. And hope, as we all know, is something that they can never take away. To truly understand Ahsoka's destiny, you have to go back, way back, to the teachings the Jedi stopped anyone from ever learning. Click on the video on your screen now.